In a nutshell, another really good year. Not quite as strong as last year, but still a very good year overall. Our portfolios continue to grow. Total assets are now just short of 1.3 billion. And if you look at the return on that portfolio of assets, it's around 12% last year. Go to our key number, which is our net operating surplus, and that effectively is our proxy for cash, how much cash we generate out of the assets we've got. Our net operating surplus this year was 76 million, and that was down on last year's 83 million. The difference being that we had slightly less profits from Ngāi Tahu property, and that was offset by some good increase in profit from tourism and seafood. The total net profit, and that number is where we take the net operating surplus and you add the increase or decrease in value of investment properties. That was 116 million compared to 161 million the year before. Main difference was in the year before we had 33 million of insurance proceeds come in, so we didn't get a repeat of that this year, but still a very strong performance. And my favourite number is our debt level, which is very low considering the portfolio at 112 million on total assets of 1.3 billion. It means that our gearing is less than 10%. Key highlights across the group, I think I'd start with tourism. A really strong year, in fact a record year on revenue growth for tourism. They were up 17% year on year, and that contributed some very strong operating earnings. So it's great to see tourism turn around. Ngāi Tahu Seafood, another record year, and this is their 6th consecutive year of record earnings. They delivered almost 21 million of operating EBIT, driven by strong volumes of coda into China, and that was helped by a favourable exchange rate. So another very good year for seafood. Ngāi Tahu property, not quite as good a year as last year. Property development continued. We sold 533 residential sections in Christchurch, which is a really good year. And the investment property portfolio continues to perform well. Occupancy rates on our investment properties are in excess of 90%, which is very strong for the industry. Ngāi Tahu Farming. In June last year, we established Ngāi Tahu Farming as a standalone entity. So separate management and a separate board started up. So this has been a transition year for them. The operating farms at Te Whenua Hou have gone well. 7 dairy farms are now operating and 5 dairy support blocks, but they're still in development or ramp-up mode. So production not quite there yet, and given the very low dairy payout, it meant that we actually incurred an operating earnings loss in Ngāi Tahu Farming, but that was significantly offset by the value gain in the value of the farms, and they have uplifted by 10% to give us a total return of 10% on our farming portfolio, which is very good. The highlight for me in Ngāi Tahu Capital was the acquisition of GoBus, and this year we've been transitioning that acquisition, which we purchased jointly with Tainui Group Holdings. It's performing very well for us, and it'll continue to be a strong cash earner for the portfolio for the future. Offsetting that a bit was the performance of Ryman Healthcare. We've enjoyed a very strong period of growth with Ryman Healthcare. If you look at over the last 5 years, the value of that to us has grown by over 400%. However, last year we actually had a decrease in the value of it because the share price dropped by 5.3% year on year. So a bit of a downturn with Ryman, but it's still a core part of our portfolio. Waikato Milking Systems, very, very good acquisition for us and investment. It's going very well. The opportunities for it to internationalise and operate offshore are significant, and given the downturn in dairy at the moment, that's a good strategy for them. Our priorities are going to continue as they have been, which is continue to build the portfolio of assets, diversify, balance. We'll look at new investments. As I said, our ability to fund new growth is very strong, so we are on the lookout for substantial investments that we can make. and continuing to drive performance in our existing investments. Look to have strong years in tourism going forward. I think the tourism outlook is very strong. We'll continue with property. Seafood continues to perform, and our new acquisitions in Go Bus, Waikato Milking Systems, etc., all of those will continue to grow. So all in all, we're in a really strong place, got a great balance sheet. We are geared for growth, which we'll continue to do.